support of the establishment of state police forces across Nigeria. A proposition that not only aligns with the principles of federalism, but also responds to the urgent security needs of our diverse and evolving society. Our discussions begin with the bedrock of our nation's governance, the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. Though the Constitution currently vests the responsibility of policing in the federal government, it is imperative to revisit this framework to reflect the realities of our federated states. The essence of federalism is to empower states to handle their affairs, including security, which is paramount to the well-being of their citizens. Amending the Constitution to allow for state policing is not only a step towards true federalism, but also an acknowledgement of the diverse security challenges that vary from one state to another. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the Nigerian security landscape is marred by multifaceted challenges ranging from insurgency in the northeast, communal clashes in the Middle Belt, to piracy and pipeline vandalism in the South-South. The challenges underscore the limitations of a centralized policing system. State police forces familiar with their local terrains and socio-cultural dynamics are better positioned to devise and implement effective strategies tailored towards the specific security challenges of their regions. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, state policing will foster a closer relationship between the police and communities they serve. It enhances community policing strategies, leading to more effective crime and resolutions. As it is, honorable colleagues, across the country, we have the likes of Amotekun, we have Neighborhood Watch, we have Ebubeagu in the southeast. What we're trying to do and what this bill seeks to do is to streamline those activities in such a way that those organizations do not fall on the other side of the law. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this bill, which comprises 18 clauses, seeks to alter sections 34, 35, 39, 42, 84, 89, and 129 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as altered. It also seeks to alter sections 153, 197, 214, 215, and 216 of the Constitution. Furthermore, the bill seeks to alter Chapter 6, Part 3 of the Second Schedule, Part 2 of the Third Schedule, and Part 3 of the Third Schedule of the Constitution as well. Among others, some of the key innovations of this proposed alteration include: A, the transfer of police from the exclusive legislative list to the concurrent legislative list, a move that effectively empowers states to have state-controlled policing. B, the introduction of a comprehensive framework to ensure cohesion as well as accountability and uniform standards between federal police and state police. C, the provision of a prescribed rigorous safeguards preventing unwarranted interference from the federal police in state police affairs, emphasizing collaboration and intervention only under well-defined circumstances. D, the establishment of state police service commissions as distinct from the Federal Police Service Commission with clearly defined roles and jurisdictions. E, a recalibration of the National Police Council to include the chairman of state police service commissions, emphasizing the collaborative and consultative nature of policing in our federal system. F, a recognition of the possible financial challenges which may be faced by state police by empowering the federal government to provide grants or aids subject to the approval of the National Assembly, thus ensuring adequate resources for effective policing. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, in conclusion, as we deliberate on this historic bill, let us transcend party lines and ideologies and focus unwaveringly on the collective good of our beloved nation. The establishment of state police is a clarion call for a tailored, community-centric policing system. It is also an acknowledgement that our states are uniquely positioned to address the security challenges within the borders. The alterations proposed in this bill are not just alterations to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They are also the building blocks for the more secure, accountable, and resilient Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I urge you to support this bill, be read the second time. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your support.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support with all my heart this bill for the establishment of state policy. Mr. Speaker, for those of us in the Northeast, we don't need a soothsayer to tell us that it's timely and appropriate for us to have a state policy. Mr. Speaker, when the issue of Boko Haram became something out of the control of all agents of coercion, the state government must embark on establishment of what we call civilian JTF to augment the effort of our Nigerian military and other agents of coercion in the operations in the Northeast. So today, whether we like it or not, members from Northeast can attest to the fact that involvement of locals, involvement of young people, energetic people, to collaborate with our agents of coercion on ground, reduce Boko Haram to certain level, to the extent that before the constitution of such, more than 22 local governments out of 27 local governments in Borno were completely under the occupation of Boko Haram. Today, we have only 1 or 2 local governments that are still under the occupation of Boko Haram. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, honorable members should understand that security is the responsibility of all. In other words, everybody's business is security, and security is everybody's business. If locals are involved, intelligence gathering, accessing locations will be relatively easier for all agents of coercion to go and perform their functions. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, we have been presenting motions on insecurity on the floor of this House from the beginning of 9th Assembly to date. There was no single week that there was no matter of urgent public importance that has to do with security. The record is there, you can verify. Mr. Speaker, most of these motions were referred to committee on either Navy, Air Force, Army, or police. Sir, it's not the responsibility of the Nigerian Army to provide internal security. We know it and it's there enshrined in our constitution. They are just coming in because our internal security mechanism has failed. So if we have community policing, together with the effort of the Nigerian police, they are going to rid out our society from all forms of criminalities and other forms of crimes.
Okay, round up.
So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I urge our colleagues to put sentiment aside and look at Nigeria first for us to have peace in the country. Without peace, there will be no development. Without peace, there will be no investment. Without peace, there will be no prosperity. So peace should be our key for Nigeria to exist as a nation. Without peace, there will be no Nigeria. Thank you very much, and I need your support on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Well,
I remain Ogbuefi, Baba Jimmy Benson.
I can see it. I can see you now deserve a 3 handshake. You have qualified. That is the beauty of Nigeria. Yoruba man is wearing Igbo cap. Igbo man is wearing Hausa cap. That is the beauty in our diversity. Keep it up.
Representing the very good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I must commend you for initiating this bill, and I commend the 12 other co-signatories. Please put it on note that I am also a co-signatory, so co-signatories are 13. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to Honorable Jaha, and I have listened to Mr. Tolani Shagaya. They have spoken very well. Mr. Speaker, two things I want to add to what Honorable Jaha has said. He has explained here that the job of the armed forces is to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. They shoot to kill. The job of the police is to maintain internal security, which is called IS operations. Mr. Speaker, today, the UN density for police is 4:1. We have a population of 200 million people, and the number of our policemen are under 400,000. It is appalling indeed. How do we remedy this? What are the constraints to state police? People talk about funding. Mr. Speaker, I want to suggest that the police should be licensed like universities are licensed. For instance, if you want to set up a university in a state, if a state wants to set up a university, they will go to the NUC. NUC will license them. So we should find a way of licensing police. Any state that meets the condition precedents that is formed by maybe the Police Service Commission can apply. Can apply. If the 36 states believe they have the funding, they have the capacity, they have the need for a state police, they apply to the Police Service Commission. If they meet the condition precedents to draw down or to license, they can be obliged. And they should be strictly monitored before their licenses are renewed. We don't want a state police that will be used to perpetrate political motives and not have sanctions. If a state police in a particular state goes off guard, the police commission must be able to revoke the license or not renew it for work not done well. Second of all, and my final contribution, sir, is recruitment.
Please round up.
Is recruitment. Mr. Speaker, every state in Nigeria complains about having an overbloated workforce. This is a way of balancing the workforce. If you have an overbloated workforce, if you apply for a state police license and you're granted, you can shift part of your workforce to be part of the state police. That way, there's no additional recurrent expenditure being put on the federal government. With all this, I submit my suggestion, and I pray that this bill is passed with the speed of light.
Honorable Abiante.
Beg, Dagomie, Abiante. I represent Andoni Opobo, Nkora Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I cannot be happier than I am today, because if you go through the foundation of this country, this bill is like a return to what we have always had, what made us Nigeria. This bill will contribute towards the understanding of that word, federation. It will cure that tragedy of the Unity Decree of 1966. But we have to be careful. We have to be committed enough, because this is not the first time that this attempt is made. It's like we have always loved inflicting pains on ourselves. This state police had been proposed in the 8th Assembly, it failed. The 9th Assembly, it failed. Here again we are, the 10th Assembly. I want to urge all of us, we have had enough of insecurity. This is one sure way of guaranteeing that we can sleep with our 2 eyes closed. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. I believe, Mr. Speaker, this bill could not have come at a better time. Let me make a confession that in the 7th and 8th Assembly, I am one of those who champion the killing of this type of bill. Our reasoning then was that state governors will use the bill to intimidate and harass political opponents. But with the situation we are in now, we have gone far, far beyond that. We are now concerned with what is the primary purpose of government: protection of life and property. I believe that is the most important job for all of us that are elected into office. And as we speak today, Nigeria is on fire everywhere. There is lack of security, there is lack of prosperity, there is lack of this, lack of this. And the only way to remedy this situation, one of the ways is to create more employment opportunities. Another way is to increase the size of the security agencies. And I believe by creating a police force, each state will be in a better position, because what is happening in Zamfara and the kind of situation they are facing may be different from what is happening in Abia, may be different from what is happening in Kano. And the way to control it also will be different. So I believe we are in need of, let me say, of state police. And I urge all my honorable colleagues not to make the mistake we made in 7th and 8th Assembly, to make sure we pass this bill into law. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I think what we have in our hand, which is insecurity, is beyond our political aspiration and ambition. So which one should come first? The lives and properties or our political ambition? It will be self-serving to go the other way, but it's good to hear from the House. Let me hear Honorable Sada Soli, who has been raising his hand since.
My contribution will be based on the provisions of that rule, Order 12, Rule 5.1, covering the general merits and the principles of this alteration bill. Mr. Speaker, I will talk in a semantic manner. Mr. Speaker, about 21 states or so in this country are caught up in the quagmire of socio-political, ethno-religious misunderstanding. Put the case of establishing state police in these 20 states. I can give you an example. How do you create and balance the establishment of a state police in the trajectory history of political situation in Plateau states today, or Benue State, or Taraba State? It's a noble idea, but the problem is we. It's we. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as of today, we're a living witness. The federal government is battling on how to fund 300 or 400,000 police force in this country. Some of the states that we are clamoring to establish police states are not even viable economically. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Policing is capital intensive. The literature is there, how other jurisdictions establish police force. First, you have to address the issue of socio-political issues of those societies. Then you have to cement the unity of those societies before you establish police force. Those are some of the critical requirements. It's a noble idea, Mr. Speaker, today, you and I know the influence of ruling parties in states. I can tell you there was a time when a governor refused a presidential candidate to land at an airport. It's an evidence that they can be used for coercion, for persecution of the opposition, and, Mr. Speaker, there is no state where we don't have non-indigens. It could be an instrument of persecuting the non-indigen factor in this country.
Okay.
We must look at all this, the government, but it's a noble idea.
So are you saying yes or no to it?
Mr. Speaker, that's why I narrowed my discussions on the order 12.
Take a position. Take a position.
No, Mr. Speaker, the rule narrowed me to discuss the general merits and the principles of the bill. I do not want to take position.
Okay, we have to. Let's give other people opportunity to also elaborate on this. Honorable,
page 85.
Thank you.
I do not want to take
Thank you. Honorable Kuye, please.
My name remains Ademori Aliu Kuye, and I speak for the good people of Shomolu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon gladly, heartily, and wholesomely to support the bill for the creation of state police. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this bill couldn't have come at a more auspicious time. Doubts have been raised about the possibility of using state police as an instrument of coercion by state governors. But we must not allow that fear to stop us from protecting lives and property, which is the primary responsibility of any government. Mr. Speaker, the fact that states are permitted to establish state university does not mean that every state will create or establish their own state university. It depends on the availability of funds. We have all agreed here, including Honorable Sada Soli, who has raised these doubts and fear in our hearts. He has admitted that it is impossible for the federal government to fund the totality of our security architecture through the Nigerian police, and that the personnel that we have, as rightly pointed out by the Chairman of Defense, Honorable Jimmy Benson, is that Nigeria is grossly inadequately policed, with 400,000 policemen to 220 million Nigerians. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, we need the state police. And the reason is not far-fetched. Just in addition to what others have said, the Nigerian police probably trains a police officer in Gombe State. The man who did his primary school, secondary school, university in Gombe State, trained as a police officer in Gombe State, and then taken to a different culture, different security architecture in Ikorodu to go and police. Number one, he does not understand their language. He does not understand that they do oro in those places. He does not understand their tradition, and he does not know the terrain. How can he effectively police that place? That's why we need state police. With due respect, honorable, distinguished colleagues, let us grow beyond our fears. Nav it first. After all, we have state high courts. we have state high courts that are doing extremely well, dispensing fair and equitable justice to people of different regions in the states. Why don't we have that optimism that the state police would do likewise? Mr. Speaker, I rise to support, and I humbly support, and I beg our colleagues to support this bill. Mr. Speaker.
States.
Representative Marie Enenimete Ebikake, representing the good and wonderful peace-loving people of Brass Nembe Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning, this afternoon, to support this bill. Mr. Speaker, we are overflogging this issue. Overflogging in the sense that so many states, we have security outfits. When they come out in their uniform, it gives impetus to the communities. You are so conscious that you have security. What we are talking about now is the legal support so that they can arm themselves openly. That is what we are talking about. There is no need for us to go against this bill. My dear colleagues, please, let's expand our reasonings. Let's not be myopic, looking at the negative aspect of it. The benefits are overwhelming. When you have your person in charge of your security, you bring a stranger from Adamawa State to be commissioner in Bayelsa State. He does not know the terrain. But if you have our own police, the commander and everything will go smoothly. We may not have 100% benefit, but I bet you we will have peace. All this banditry and so on, because we know who is who. In our community, we know. As soon as we are giving that legal backing to control that security, we'll be able to achieve. Mr. Speaker, please, let's not overflog this issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kumo.
Kumo is my name. I represent Akko Federal Constituency from Gombe State. I rise to support this bill, even though I have some fears. And expressing my fears is maybe in our attempt to package this bill, we'll be able to take in cognizance of some gray areas and leakages within which, by the time when we are done with the bill, it may give us the expected result. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to so many speakers. Let me start by the current situation in the country. The mood of the nation, with the incessant killings every day, and we have federal government. And the primary responsibility of every government is to secure and protect life and property. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to tell you for free that even the ongoing recruitment exercise in the Nigerian police today is not yet funded by the federal government. That's why, up to this moment we are talking about, funds were not released for the recruitment. We have, as everybody knows, about 400,000 police workforce in a country of about 200 million. Mr. Speaker, the issue is we must trace back our history. The long stay of military rule in Nigeria have put the Nigerian police to the background. The Nigerian police, who is supposed to be the organization that man the internal security of the land constitutionally, have been relegated to the background by the army. Today, the Nigerian army have taken over by usurping all the powers of the Nigerian police. If not, why do you see a Nigerian military man on the roadblock? Why? Internal security is purely the constitutional mandate of the Nigerian police. And if we are talking about protecting and securing the land, what stopped the federal government from declaring state of emergency in the Nigerian police sector? We have the manpower, we have the youth. Why can't we do massive recruitment to ensure that we secure and protect the nation first? We have youths that are certificates, an army of youths who have nothing to do. We can do that. And the recruitment can take place within the period of 2 months, if we are serious. And what is wrong in releasing the funds to the appropriate quarters to do the recruitment? But the bureaucracy of the country, by our laws, serve as a bottleneck. Even where government want to do that, the bureaucracy is making it very difficult. Coming to the issue of the state police, is a very, very good concept. It's apt. It's very okay to have state police. But Mr. Speaker, why I support the bill, why I'm going to continue supporting the bill, I want us to put at the back of our mind that Nigeria is a cosmopolitan country. And it's good we have good concepts. I appreciate you as the sponsor of this bill, but I want you to understand that, like my brother here said, the civilian executive in Borno, substantial number of members of civilian executive in Borno are Kanuris. So also when you go to Edo State today, if you have a state police in Edo, with the present governor of Edo, can the members of other political parties have justice in Edo? The answer is no. So while I'm supporting this bill, I want us to look inward and do the right thing to ensure that, taking cognizance of our cosmopolitan nature, we bring in a bill that will give the country that nationalistic reason of having bills and laws. Thank you.
The word is okay. The word.
Uwe Federal Constituency. I'm from Delta State. Mr. Speaker, for more than 20 years, I have canvassed this same motion that we should have a police structure different from what it is, today. I'm happy with the motion, but I have issues, with it. First, if a member says here that this same motion has come in the 7th Assembly, 8, 9, and whatever, and it has never seen the light of the day, it suggests to me that there's a problem, to it. Beautiful as it is, why is it not seeing the light of the day? And I tell you, perhaps we are letting the cat, before the horse. Nigerians do not know the structure of what it will take to have a police structure different from what it is, today. And what do I mean, by that? The mere use of the word state police is causing problems. The mere use of the word state police is causing problems. It's making Nigerians think, that once you establish a state police, it will be in the control of the governor and can be used for whatever the case may be. No. That is why I say, let us look at it critically and leave the word state police and go for the word decentralization of the Nigerian police force into different commands. And the commands are interrelated, together. For example, Mr. Speaker, the community police is independent, and we deal with misdemeanors, minor misdemeanors within the community. The local police, local government police, can handle the issues of threat, battery, as the case may be. But when it comes to robbery, kidnapping, and so on and so forth, the state police. Then, when it comes to human rights, issue of human rights, the federal police, which has offices in every local government, will be saddled with that responsibility. Why do I say so? Now, the fear of those who don't want state police are such that governors will use it against, people. But you see, when an individual makes a complaint that his right is being infringed upon by either the local government chairman or the state governor, then he makes a petition to the federal police having presence in that very local government. And that federal police takes over, the case, once. So by this, we'll be eliminating the fears of governors using the state police. So while I agree with this debate on this bill, I suggest that we should expunge the word state police into decentralization of the police force for Nigerians to understand and show the structure of operations to Nigerians and understand it before, we begin to, get into this issue. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Agocha.
And like you said, obviously, there are several factors threatening the security and corporate existence of Nigeria. We talk about kidnapping, we talk about banditry, we also talk about assassination, and there are no state that is spared of these issues, and currently we now have hunger and high cost of food prices. Mr. Speaker, Nigerians are suffering, Nigerians are hungry, and they are not happy. In the issue of state police, Mr. Speaker, a lot of arguments have been made prior to me. Mr. Speaker, I want to come from a particular perspective. Many states, Mr. Speaker, do not even qualify to be states as it's today economically. Many states may need to be merged, let alone to be saddled with the issue of state police. Many states are insolvent, unable to pay their salaries and other obligations. State police is not the right way to go. The hard-headedness of political operatives in the state also demand that state police is not the right way to go. Mr. Speaker, the Igbos have a saying that the way the kola nut sound in the mouth is not the way it tastes. Mr. Speaker, you should also be concerned about interstate movement and commerce. If we have state police, many states may decide on their own, based on the issues and challenges that they are facing, to deny others access to their state. Tomorrow, Ibubagu can say, no Northerner can come to the southeast. Tomorrow, Boko Haram can say, no Easterner can come to the northwest and northeast. We need to expand the current structure of the Nigerian police, as somebody said, to expand it, to make it more functional. Because as is now, Mr. Speaker, we need to encourage the Nigerian police to stay at a rate. When we reach at a stage where Nigeria can move beyond all these intimidations of state, then we can consider the state policy.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please let us...
Member representing Ojuobi Federal Constituency, I'm from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I must express my gratitude to God Almighty for bringing this bill to be witnessed and then for me to be part of it in these 10th assemblies. Because for me, history, a good history is about to be made. Mr. Speaker, today, as people representing, the good people of this country from various federal constituencies, we can hear the yearning and the cry of our people, either of hunger or insecurity. Now, one of the reasons why today we're having a whole lot of protests for some few days now regarding hunger is because of lack of this security. The insecurity in our nation, it has deprived the farmers from going to farm for us to have farm produce, adequate farm produce for people to feed. The little we have is even being exported out of this country to make a whole lot of money out of it, and here we are as a people suffering. Establishment of state police will bring a very lasting solution to some of these things. How? Every community, every individual living in a community know each other very better. And they know their way, they know their roots. I can give you an instance. In my federal constituency, some months ago, some kidnappers came in there, about 15 of them. They were apprehended by this local vigilante that we set up, and then hand over to the police. And right now, They are facing the wrath of the law. So if we can have state police, being put in place, and then their ways are defined by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and then powers are aggregated to them, I can assure you that this insecurity we are talking about will be a thing of the past. So for me, as a person, as people's representative, I am totally in support of this bill. And I'm pleading with my colleagues, let us join hands to make this be a reality. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.